As you build up your Experts Directory profile, you'll end up with dozens of items under categories like teaching activities, scholarly and creative works, professional activities, and grants. Some of these are likely going to be more important to you and more valuable for others to know about compared to some of the other items on your list. There is a way to make individual items more visible and make sure they're more likely to be seen by others who visit your public Experts Directory profile. First, log in by going to expertsdirectory.okstate.edu. Click the OSU login button and enter your OKey credentials. This takes you to your Experts Directory profile, where you'll see some categories like the ones here: teaching activities, scholarly and creative works, and professional activities. You can see I've added items to each of these categories like courses taught, presentations, awards, committee memberships, and so on. It's a lot to sort through though, and some of the more important ones that I'd really like to showcase can get lost among the rest. That's where favoriting comes in handy. To get started, I'm going to go to my teaching activities card and then select View All. This shows a list of all the courses I've taught here at OSU. I entered these manually, and there are many items to see here, but when people come to my public profile, I'd really like them to see a workshop I taught in September 2020 called Using Videos to Engage Students. I have to scroll down to find it, and the same is true on my public Experts Directory profile. This workshop is not likely to get noticed because it's so far down the list. Let me show you what I mean. I've got another tab in my browser with my public Experts Directory profile, so I'm going to switch to that tab and then click Teaching to see all the items in my teaching activities. This shows all the items from the previous screen, and as you can see, the Using Videos to Engage Students is pretty far down the list, but I'd really like it to show up at the top, and that's where favorites really come in handy. Let's switch back to the first tab with my Experts Directory profile that I'm editing, and to favorite this particular item, I just click the heart button in the top right corner on that item. That sets it to be a favorite, but it doesn't actually move the item's position in this list at all. It stays in the same place when I'm on this editing screen, but clicking favorite on an item moves it to the top of my public profile. To see what it looks like, I'm going to switch to the other tab in my browser with my public profile. Note that the change doesn't happen simultaneously. You'll usually have to wait a few minutes to see your favorites show up. So, after waiting a bit, I'm going to hit the refresh button, and there it is, right at the top. It now has an indicator showing that it's a featured item, and there's also a toggle switch allowing users to display featured items first or leave them in the normal sorting order. This toggle switch is turned on by default, and when I turn it off, I can see that the item I marked as favorite is now back to its normal place. So let's switch back to the other tab to show you a few more things you need to know about favoriting a record. First, you can mark multiple items as a favorite. When you do this, they will show up at the top of your public profile in the same order that the rest of the items are sorted. To show you what I mean, I'm going to mark 2 additional items as favorites, and then switch back to my profile tab, my public version. And again, you might have to wait a few minutes for these new favorites to show up. Now you can see all 3 favorite items at the top, and they're sorted according to the criteria specified on the top left side. It's usually date newest first, which means everything you've marked as favorite will be shown in that order, and then below your favorites, all the rest of your items will be visible and also sorted in the same order. If I change this to sort by date oldest first, my favorites remain at the top, but they're now in reverse chronological order, and the rest of my records below are sorted in reverse order as well. Finally, one more thing to know about favorites involves the privacy setting. I'm going to go back to my first tab and look at the Using Videos to Engage Students item, and then click the icon next to the heart to manage its privacy level. It's set to public, which means it will show up in my public profile, which is what I want. But if I change this to internal or private, it will not be visible at all to the general public, even though I have marked it as a favorite. So if you mark an item as a favorite, but it still doesn't show up on your public profile, double check its privacy setting to make sure that it's also set to public.